What if I told you there's a Japanese city where it snows ash every day, robots check you into hotels, and you can eat raw chicken safely? A city where tropical fruits grow in volcanic soil, where ancient samurai walked the same streets as modern-day robots, and where one of the world's most active volcanoes serves as a daily alarm clock. Welcome to Kagoshima, Japan's most un-Japanese city, and possibly its best-kept secret. The final stop on Japan's bullet train line isn't Tokyo or Kyoto, it's this hidden gem at the bottom of Japan, where an active volcano looms over the city like a moody neighbor who occasionally throws rocks in your yard. And when I say occasionally, I mean multiple times per day. But we'll get to that. Located on Kyushu's southern tip, Kagoshima sits in what scientists call the Eira caldera. Imagine a massive volcanic crater so big it contains an entire city. This isn't just different, it's geological drama on a massive scale. And today, we're diving into why locals proudly call this the least Japanese city in Japan. Let's start with the star of the show, Sakurajima. This isn't your average volcano. While Mount Fuji might be Japan's poster child for perfect conical mountains, Sakurajima is its rebellious cousin who never learned to sit still. One of Earth's most active volcanoes, it erupts multiple times daily, sending plumes of ash into the sky like nature's fireworks display. Most tourist attractions make you wait for something to happen. Not this one. Sakurajima performs on schedule, multiple times a day, no admission fee required. But what's it really like living in the shadow of an active volcano? Well, imagine a city where carrying an umbrella on a sunny day is completely normal, not for rain, but for ash. Where street sweepers clear volcanic ash instead of fallen leaves, and where ash forecast is an actual part of the daily weather report. The locals have adapted to this volcanic cohabitation with typical Japanese efficiency. There are even special ash disposal bags and designated ash collection days. Hey race, where things get interesting though, all this volcanic activity has an unexpected upside. The ash creates some of Japan's most fertile soil, turning Kagoshima into an agricultural wonderland. The landscape looks like someone dropped a Studio Ghibli movie into reality. Bamboo grows next to palm trees, next to pine trees. You'll find tropical fruits growing here that you won't see anywhere else in Japan. The local farmers have turned this volcanic blessing into an art form, producing some of Japan's most unique crops. Now, let's time travel a bit. During Japan's isolation period, when the country was closed to foreigners, Kagoshima was basically Japan's rebellious teenager, secretly keeping contact with the outside world through its powerful Satsuma domain. Think of it as medieval Japan's version of that kid who had a secret phone after bedtime. This wasn't just breaking rules, it was shaping history. The city's rebel streak didn't stop there. This is where the Meiji Restoration began, the revolution that transformed Japan from a feudal society into a modern nation. The local museum tells this story using robots, holograms, and interactive displays, because apparently, even their history museums need to be a little bit extra. You can literally watch animatronic figures reenact historical scenes while standing in the very place where these events happened. It's like History Channel meets Disney World, with a dash of volcanic drama. Speaking of robots, let's talk about the Hen-na Hotel. Hen-na means strange in Japanese, and they really commit to the concept. Instead of a regular receptionist, you're greeted by robot velociraptors and samurai. Need room service? Talk to the robot. Want to store your luggage? A mechanical arm has got you covered. It's like somebody watched Jurassic Park and thought, you know what this needs? More Japanese hospitality. The architectural landscape here is just as eclectic. Imagine throwing European buildings, Canadian-style homes, and traditional Japanese architecture into a blender. That's Kagoshima's cityscape. You'll find Western-style mansions next to traditional Japanese gardens, modern hotels alongside ancient samurai residences. It's architectural chaos, and it's beautiful. Walking through the city feels like traveling through different countries without ever leaving the street. Let's talk about food, because Kagoshima's culinary scene is where things get really interesting. Their black pork, known as kurabota, is basically pork wagyu, so marbled and tender it practically melts in your mouth. But the real adventure? Torisashi, raw chicken sashimi. Yes, you read that right. Before you panic, know that Kagoshima's chicken farms and preparation methods are so meticulously managed that this local delicacy is perfectly safe. It's served slightly seared on the outside, raw in the middle, and it's surprisingly delicious. The local ramen deserves its own chapter too. While most Japanese cities have their own ramen variation, Kagoshima's version features a rich, almost creamy pork-based broth that's been influenced by their kurabota heritage. Top it with freshly made noodles and char siu made from that famous black pork, and you've got a bowl of ramen that could make a Tokyo ramen master jealous. For dessert, how about getting buried alive? At Ibusuki Onsen, you can take a sand bath heated by volcanic activity. Imagine being covered in warm, black sand while looking out at the ocean. Think of it as a natural sauna where you're the tea bag. The sand is naturally heated by volcanic activity, and locals swear by its therapeutic properties. It's like a spa day designed by Mother Nature herself, with a volcano as the heating system. Transportation here is another quirk that sets Kagoshima apart. While most Japanese cities have sleek, modern transit systems, Kagoshima proudly maintains a network of vintage trolleys. These aren't just for tourists, they're a vital part of the city's transportation network. Riding one feels like you've somehow time-traveled to the 1920s, complete with wooden seats and charming conductors. You can literally take a trolley to a castle. Where else in Japan can you do that? Speaking of castles, let's visit Senganen Garden. This isn't your typical Japanese garden, it's a sprawling estate where the powerful Shimazu clan once lived, complete with a perfect view of Sakurajima. The garden was designed to incorporate the volcano into its landscape, creating what might be Japan's most dramatic garden view. Imagine sipping traditional green tea while watching ash plumes rise from an active volcano. It's probably the most metal tea ceremony in Japan. Hey race, what makes all of this even more incredible, Kagoshima is surprisingly affordable. While Tokyo and Kyoto command premium prices, Kagoshima lets you experience volcanic drama, historical intrigue, and robot dinosaurs without breaking the bank. The hotels are cheaper, the food is reasonable, and many of the best attractions, like watching Sakurajima's daily eruptions, are absolutely free. The people here have developed their own unique culture too. Perhaps it's living next to an active volcano, but Kagoshima residents are known for being particularly warm and welcoming, even by Japanese standards. They have a laid-back vibe that's more reminiscent of tropical islands than typical Japanese cities. You'll find yourself being invited to share meals, told local stories, and treated like family rather than a tourist. What makes Kagoshima truly special is how it effortlessly blends all these contradictions. It's a city where ancient samurai traditions coexist with robot receptionists, where tropical fruits grow in volcanic soil, and where you can take a historic trolley to see futuristic attractions. It's what happens when Japanese efficiency meets tropical weather, volcanic chaos, and a rebel spirit. In a country famous for doing things by the book, Kagoshima wrote its own book, then probably used it as volcano fuel. It's where you can take a trolley to a castle, get checked in by a robot dinosaur, eat raw chicken without fear, and watch a volcano erupt during your morning coffee. It's the kind of place that makes you question everything you thought you knew about Japan, and that's exactly why you need to visit. After all, where else can you experience a place that's simultaneously the most and least Japanese city in Japan? Only in Kagoshima, where every day brings a new layer of volcanic ash and a new reason to fall in love with this beautifully bizarre corner of Japan. After all, where else can you experience a place that's simultaneously the most and least Japanese city in Japan? Only in Kagoshima, where every day brings a new layer of volcanic ash and a new reason to fall in love with this beautifully bizarre corner of Japan. If you enjoyed discovering this hidden gem of Japan, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps more people discover these amazing places that too often fly under the radar. And if you want to see more unique destinations that challenge what you think you know about Japan, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let me know in the comments, would you be brave enough to try the raw chicken sashimi, or would you stick to the black pork? And stay tuned for next week when we explore another fascinating corner of Japan that most tourists never see. Until then, sayonara from the city where it rains ash instead of cherry blossoms.